This week in math, we're going to be reviewing how to multiply fractions. So if you remember, we're just going to go through the notes that we did in class together, and then you'll have some practice on your Clever page. Multiplying is simply repeated addition. So when I say that I'm multiplying something, I'm adding groups of my first number. So, for example, if I have 3 times 1/2, this is saying 3 groups of 1/2. So I have my illustration here where I have drawn 3 groups of 1/2. So now all I have to do, I'm still talking about halves, I'm going to keep my denominator the same and just add my numerators. I have 1, 2, 3 halves. So now I need to simplify my answer. We remember how we simplify my answer. I'm going to take out the whole. So if it's halves, my whole is going to be 2 halves, like this right here. Okay, so I can draw my tally marks and circle by 2's for my halves. So I have 1 whole and 1/2. So 1 and 1/2 would be my answer for 3 times 1/2. Our next example, 2 times 3/5. So this says 2 groups of 3/5. So I'm going to multiply times my numerator. 2 times 3 is 6. Keep my denominator the same. Okay. Over here I've drawn my picture, my model. I have 3/5 shaded, 2 groups of 3/5. If I add those together, I'm going to get 6/5. So I'm going to again pull out my whole. I can do that with tally marks or I can draw a picture to get 1 and 1/5. So to multiply fractions, keep your denominator the same and multiply the whole number and the numerator. So my fifths is going to stay the same because I'm just doing repeated addition, and I know when I'm adding fractions, I don't add the denominator. My denominator stays the same, and then I'm going to simplify. So look at a couple more examples before you try these on your own. So 6 times 4/9. So again, I know that I'm going to be doing my multiplication of my whole number and my numerator. So my answer is still going to be in ninths. So step 1, keep my denominator. So 6 times 4/9. I'm going to go ahead and write my denominator over here. Step 2, I'm going to multiply the whole number and the numerator. So 6 times 4 is 24/9 because I still have my same denominator. Step 3, I need to simplify my fraction if needed. So I already know that 24/9 is going to be more than a whole because my numerator is larger than my denominator, so I'm going to have to simplify this. So I'm going to draw my tallies. As you can see, I've drawn 24 tallies. I'm going to circle groups of 9's because that's ninths. If I have 9 ninths, that's a whole. So I've been able to do that twice, and I have 2 groups, so I have 2 wholes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ninths left over. But I have to make sure that my 6 ninths, I'm not done with this, right? I have to make sure this is in simplest form. So to make sure it's in simplest form, I look down here and I'm going to look at my multiplication chart, and I know that 6 ninths is going to equal 2/3. All right, last one. 9 times 7/10. Again, I'm multiplying my whole number and my numerator. 9 times 7 is 63. Tenths stays the same. I've drawn my 63 tallies over here. I'm circling by tenths. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wholes. So here's my 6. And I have 1, 2, 3 tenths left over. So remember, when you're multiplying fractions and whole numbers, you're going to keep your denominator, multiply the whole number and the numerator, simplify the fraction as needed, so pulling out wholes, and then making sure it's in simplest form.